Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Any part of the world you are watching from, this is The Atmosphere for Healing, a special program that brings alive the healing ministration of our man of God, the highly esteemed Prophet Uebert Angel. So before we can even start, I just want to take this time and opportunity to appreciate him, to just thank him for answering the call of God. My dear man of God, the highly esteemed Prophet Uebert Angel, that God, through his extremities, will continuously heal countless people. But these miracles and testimonies that are coming for us simply because the highly esteemed Prophet Uebert Angel availed himself to be used by God in diverse way, and these testimonies are so powerful. So thank you, sir, for answering the call of God. And the program, The Atmosphere for Healing, is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of the Healing Institute. Now, we are here live in studio from Lincoln, United Kingdom, and I have with me a special guest. But before I can introduce the guest or the guest introduce himself, I just want to encourage you. Make sure that you are sharing this broadcast. Make sure that you are telling someone that it's a new episode of The Atmosphere for Healing that is now airing and is being broadcast. So make sure you are inviting someone, because it's important that these miracles that are happening, these healing that are happening, when someone see it, their faith also get boosted. And through it, because our man of God always tells us that in the realm of the spirit, there is no barrier, there's no distance. So when someone see this kind of powerful testimony, they themselves can grab their own healing. So make sure that you are sharing this broadcast. So now, let me go back to the main person who will be sharing their testimony in studio, but I just want for them to introduce themselves. So, please welcome to The Atmosphere for Healing. Please introduce yourself to the audience, and then we can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So, before we get started, I just want to take this time to honor and acknowledge my prophet, my man of God, my inspiration, Prophet Uebert Angel, for answering the calling. If it wasn't for him answering that calling, we would not be here on this platform today. So we thank you, sir, and we thank you for the work that you have been putting into this ministry. My name is Brother Joseph. I'm from United Kingdom, Spirit Embassy, London.
Spirit Embassy, London.
Spirit Embassy, London.
Well, I see the joy, I mean, something is just glowing out of you. Something is just emanating out of you, because I believe the testimony you have to share is so powerful. I want you to tell us, what transpired in Zimbabwe, about your health, because you are such a young man. When anybody look at you on the outside, when we are talking about medical conditions or multiple, medical conditions and complications, they might not really believe it. Say, well, he looks so young and there's no sign of illness. But tell me, what happened when you got to Zimbabwe?
When we got to Zimbabwe, it's like, I don't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong because there was no reason for anything to be wrong. You understand? So, and then I was struggling to eat, and me, I eat a lot. I eat a lot, so I was struggling to eat. I didn't want to eat a lot. I was struggling to digest the food as well. So that was the worst part, because every time I went to the toilet, it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. And then I had this feeling in my neck that I just couldn't breathe properly. It felt like it was swollen. My chest was filled up to like this capacity that it felt like there was liquid inside it. And then my stomach, it felt like it was just being constantly stabbed. So your stomach being constantly stabbed, you could feel the pains, and your chest is like some, fluid in the lungs. That's right.
And you could feel actually the difficulty in breathing at the same time on your throat. All these things were just kind of complications of medical condition that you didn't really know what was happening, but it was impacting your health so greatly.
That's right.
And at that time you were in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Already.
We were in Zimbabwe, and of course, every time I went to sleep, even, it's such a hot country, and my parents were telling me that my body was so hot, but I was shivering while I was sleeping. I was shivering, I was cold, and I couldn't even sleep properly. I kept groaning. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. It didn't feel nice at all.
Wow, listen, somebody, we will continue to go into the nitty-gritty of this testimony. But as you have heard from Brother Joseph, this repetitive medical condition that is coming off, like someone choking him, the breathing condition from his lungs, his stomach, and everything. It was just complication after complication. Medical situation that was not really, he couldn't really determine what was happening to him, and being such a young fellow. But to go to the nitty-gritty and his encounter with the prophet of God that led to this testimony, I want to encourage you, wherever you are watching from, it is important for you to get connected to the prophet of God, because this testimony is an offspring of simply his encounter with the prophet of God, the highly esteemed Prophet Uebert Angel. So I encourage you, wherever you are, get connected. On every social media platform, the man of God, the highly esteemed Prophet Uebert Angel, is present, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, any social media platform. Then, of course, we have our own Good News Television, Miracle TV. Everywhere the prophet of God is present, and it is important for you to get connected, because through that, your testimony also will come. So whatever the medical condition you are suffering from, whether it is something that concerns breathing or your lungs or your stomach or your throat, whatever it is, or even worst cases, we have seen people being healed of cancer, people being healed of HIV, people being healed of diabetes, any form of medical condition, simply because they encountered the prophet of God. So I encourage you, wherever you are, get connected to Prophet Uebert Angel, and surely your healing will definitely not be denied. Now, we will have a short break, and after that, we're going to Brother Joseph so that you understand in Zimbabwe how he encountered the prophet of God and he got his healing.
God's Medicine, authored by Prophet Uebert Angel. In this book, learn how to receive divine healing and, equally important, how to keep it. Immerse yourself in this teaching by Prophet Angel, a man who has a very potent healing ministration that is seeing multitudes receive their healing from all manner of ailments around the world. Order your copy from www.howard-browne.org or from Amazon Kindle.
I was telling you that we were having a break, and now we are back. So, Brother Joseph, tell me, because you say even at night, your skin, though you feeling, hot on the outside,
yes,
but shivering on the inside.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the temperature in Zimbabwe is normal, as compared to the cold winter in Europe or America or other places of the world, other parts of the world. But you were feeling the cold inside, but the body very hot. Now, and that's happened persistently when you got in Zimbabwe. But now, tell me, how did the situation really, that medical condition escalated to the point that, you have to really now go and see the prophet of God? What happened in between?
So it was, I think, the Sunday after Exodus night. And when we were in that service, I was serving as content creation in Spirit Embassy Harare. And while I was there, I was recording, and then it started getting worse. I felt it, everything just felt sharper. It felt like with my chest, with my neck, and my eyes, they just felt like they were giving up on me.
The same condition you suffer at night, now it just came back to you when you were in service.
Yes, that's right.
And even serving, the whole thing just started to come back to you.
That's right.
So tell us, how did it just, deteriorate to the point that really you needed the prophet intervention?
I felt so cold, and it got to the point that I had to go outside. And when I ran outside, I thought I needed water or fresh air, and then I just went down onto the floor, laid down, and I just wanted the heat to just heat me up.
That's right.
Even though I felt so cold, and my body was so hot. And then during that time, that was when the Healing Institute doctors, they came, and they came to me, they picked me up, and they did checkups on me just to see what was going on.
That's right.
And they identified there was something going on with my neck, there was something wrong with my chest, and they told us that I had to go to the hospital, right? And then my parents, or my mom and my sister, they were there to witness it. And they said, we'll sign him up for Healing Institute.
Wow. I mean, this is very, very significant, because imagine at that time you were talking about at the Hippodrome, the surrounding, sometimes it rains, the place is muddy. And imagine that medical condition, you could not even look at the surrounding. Somehow you found yourself on the floor. And the medical team from Healing Institute, these are qualified doctors and medical professionals. So they were able to check on you, but their recommendation was somehow, because they look at the gravity, they look at the critical, situation you were in. Because sometimes you could look at yourself on the outside, you think you are healthy. But when a medical doctor just, by touching your pulse or, trying to examine one or two things, you can say, well, this one, it really needs medical attention at the hospital. But the faith of your mother, with the family, and say, well, we believe. Now the Healing Institute people, they were telling you, because these are medical doctors, so you can understand from a professional standpoint what they were telling you. But at the same time, the faith of your mother and the family just say, well, we believe, if at all, Brother Joseph, if you go in the presence of the prophet, and the prophet pray for you, this thing will go away. And that's how can you register for the Healing Institute.
Exactly.
So finally you register. I want us to really go now deeper into this. But before we come to the encounter with the prophet, I speak to someone again watching us. This Atmosphere for Healing program, it is not just meant to entertain, no, because these are real life miracles, healing that happened simply because of the encounter with the prophet of God. So all I can say to you, make sure, find your way somehow, whether you are any part of the world you are, find your way somehow to get connected to the prophet, because he tells us that distance is no barrier in the realm of the spirit. And so when you are connected to the prophet of God, surely your healing will manifest. So Brother Joseph, tell me, now you register for Healing Institute. And I believe there was a time where the prophet of God in the building.
That's right.
And then you have your own placard.
Yes.
What are some of the thoughts and expectations that were going through your mind, knowing that this time around, this thing just got to go away? When the prophet touches me, when the prophet ministers to me, when I encounter the prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel, tell me what was going through your mind.
I knew that during this time, God located me here to serve the prophet.
Amen.
That is why I was there. Because if I wasn't there, who knows what would have happened.
That's right.
I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was gone. My eyes felt heavy.
That's it.
And then prophet came over.
He ministered to someone near you, and then suddenly now he's in front of you. The prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel. Now it's one-on-one encounter with the prophet. Tell me, when the prophet ministered to you, when he prayed for you, how did it even happen? Tell us.
So I was sitting on my chair, and the thing is, I had my eyes closed, so I wasn't seeing when he was coming. So I didn't even notice when he came. But then I felt the presence. You understand? So then when he made his way over, he laid his hand on my head. Then he went to the next guy and laid his hand on their head. And then if you see in the video, he comes back
to you.
Yes.
Which is very rare, because, I mean, we band with the prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel. Anytime he ministers, any part of the world he travels, and when he ministers, just once, and he moves to the next person, he just seems to come back. So there was kind of magnetic force that pulled him back to say, this thing has to be dealt with again and again. So tell me, when he came back to you, what happened?
When he came back to me, he laid his hand on the parts that were actually hurting, the parts that were actually wrong. He laid his hand on my stomach, where I felt the stabbing.
That's right.
He laid his hand on my chest, where I felt like it was filled up to its capacity.
Yes.
And then he grabbed me by the neck and picked me up. And when he picked me up, he said, heal in the name of Jesus. And when he did that, he blew, and I fell.
Wow.
And when I fell, I felt everything from my toes all the way to my head just
Powerful. That's total healing. And those points you are talking about, you didn't explain to the prophet of God that you had problem like stabbing in the stomach. You did not explain that. You didn't explain to him that in your lungs it was filled with, with fluid, that you could feel it. It was like overwhelmed with fluid. You didn't tell him. You did not tell him that your neck, because you had problem with the breathing also with the neck. You did not tell him, but when he came back, he attacked each of the body parts, point by point, and then from there, he blew life into you. It's so powerful. And now you say you felt everything that had pulled you down before, everything that had troubled you, medically speaking, everything lifts you from down your feet all the way to the crown of your head, totally healed. Now you are instituted today. I can see the smile, the laughter, the joy. It means that really you that healing power, because the man of God, Prophet Uebert Angel, he carries his own environment. When you are in his environment, you encounter things. Sometimes we try to articulate, but these are spiritual matters. You encounter these things and your healing was instantly done. Since that day, no more problem with breathing difficulty, no more stabbing in the stomach, nothing else on the chest like lungs, lungs being filled with liquid or fluid. Everything completely disappeared.
Everything went.
Just one encounter with the prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel.
Yes, sir.
So powerful, so powerful, so powerful.
And even during that time as well, my mother, before we even went to Zimbabwe, she had this dream. And that dream was, she saw me laid flat dead on the floor. And Prophet came over and prayed for me.
Wow.
And imagine that the suit that she saw Prophet wearing was the same suit he wore when he laid his hands on me.
This is supernatural.
Exactly.
It's a replay of what happened in the dream. And it took the prophet of God to really locate you and be able to minister specifically, not once, but twice, knowing that this is a complicated problem. And as you said, it was that you lie flat dead in your dream. And all alone, this thing been following you. So it does not easily, blow on someone. No, when you touch the person, once he gone. But your case was special. And he ministered to you on a unique level. Now your testimony is so powerful. I'm so happy because being a young man, to be having these medical complications every time, every time, just repetitive. It is annoying and frustrating. You need to be joyous, as a young man. And when you go among friends, you want your health to be, really at the top. You don't want to be suffering anything. But it took the prophet of God to locate every specific problem that you face prior to encountering him. Now today, you sharing your testimony with millions around the world. Someone watching us, they might have probably similar medical condition, either with their lungs, with their throat, with their stomach, any part of their body, breathing difficulties, or even more other different type of, illnesses or medical conditions. I want you to speak to that person watching us because you got your healing. Now you can testify. So tell that person whatever you want to really communicate to them.
Make sure you keep your faith. Believe. You see, Prophet, he has enough to heal you. You see, he has enough, but it's just by your faith that you'll be healed. Do you believe? If you believe it, receive it, and it will happen.
As Brother Joseph was saying, a prophet has enough. Sometimes he said, when I minister in the service, I feel still more energy. It's still there. The energy and the healing power is still within me. But when you encounter the prophet of God, it is also important for your faith to be raised to another level. Because by that expectation and by the demonstration of that faith that when I encounter the prophet of God, surely my healing will take place. It will be happening to you. Like it happened to Brother Joseph. Now he's sharing his testimony. So again, I encourage you, get connected to the prophet of God, and surely your healing will be coming like no other. Now, tell me, what do you really have to say to the prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel?
Prophet, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Just like I said before, if it wasn't for God locating me to you, who knows what would have happened to me. You know, it is by faith
That's right.
and by believing that I was able to receive this healing.
Yeah.
But by listening to you, even just by listening to the word, you can just walk past and something could happen. So you don't even have to be there with the prophet. You can just be there listening or even see what happens, and it can happen to you also. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. I mean, Brother Joseph really sum it up, because the environment of the prophet of God is a different environment, saturated with signs, miracles, and healing. And surely when you encounter the prophet of God, your life is bound to change. When you get connected to the prophet of God, your life is bound to change. I'd encourage you, wherever you are watching from, make sure that you are connected to the highest in Prophet Uebert Angel. But on that note, we want to also take this time and opportunity to thank our men of God, my men of God, yes, my dear men of God, Prophet Uebert Angel, for granting us this platform, for being able to just allow us to share the multiple, manifold facets of different form of healings and testimonies that are happening simply because of an encounter with you. Thank you, sir, for just being able to avail yourself to the Lord Jesus, to be used in so much spiritual and supernatural way. Testimonies after testimony coming. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. The Atmosphere for Healing definitely appreciate you, and we love you so dearly, sir. Of course, the Atmosphere for Healing, this special program that brings alive the healing ministration of our men of God, Prophet Uebert Angel, is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of the Healing Institute. So make sure, if you are not partner with the Healing Institute, because more and more episodes are coming out for you, simply because the Healing Institute is there as foot soldier, going around organizing and making sure that indeed whoever needs healing, they are brought to the prophet of God. And the Spirit of God, oh yes, our Lord Jesus uses him to this last dispensation, healing countless multiple form of diseases and illnesses. So make sure that you are partnering with the Healing Institute, and surely God will answer your prayer. As you encounter the prophet of God, Prophet Uebert Angel, your healing is bound to happen. That is definite, because God uses him and continue to use him. Anytime he shows up, we know that the power of God is present to heal. Thank you for watching, and more episodes will be coming to you through the kind courtesy of the Healing Institute and this Atmosphere for Healing. My name is Pastor Moses. Thank you for watching. Until next time, good news to you. Bye-bye for now.
Receive your healing at the Healing Institute with Prophet Uebert Angel. Register for free at www.healinginstitute.org.